Yes, guys, welcome back to another vid from Mutal FC, and today we got another banging vid for you. Today, we've got the best and worst transfers of the Premier League season. Obviously, I think we all can agree on Ruben Dias is probably the clear favorite in this, right? He's been a revelation coming to Man City, how he's changed that defense, made them very compact, solid in the back. And it's what's led City to win the Premier League, win the Carabao Cup, and potentially maybe win the Champions League. So I think we all can agree on Ruben Dias. But we're all going to say our individual underrated best transfers of the season.
Before we get to that, we got to talk about, the collective worst transfer of the season. For that matter, let's talk about the collective worst team for the season, fucking Chelsea. Fingers crossed, man. I really hope they choke top 4 and Champions League, but, we'll know by the end of May. I'm really hoping, but the thing with Werner, it's interesting. He's had a shit season. He doesn't have any confidence. He's playing like Morata, but he still has the digits, the double-figure goals and assists since that first season since Hazard, so that's impressive. But, the rest of them are pretty shit, like Havertz and Ziyech. I don't want to get into that, but I'm going to let Vig kick it off with the individual picks.
All right, so being a United fan, I think you might all know where I'm going with this. But my best transfer of the Premier League 2020-2021 season is Edinson Cavani. And I'll be the first person to hold my hand up and say, when we signed him on the last 1 or 2 days of transfer window, I was like, are you fucking serious? We missed out on Jadon Sancho for Edinson Cavani, who a lot of people probably thought, this dude's a proven goal scorer, but he did it in Serie A, he did it in League One. Can he really replicate that in the Premier League? Oh boy, was I wrong, and like almost every Man United fan, every Premier League fan. This man has come into the Premier League, and at 34 years of age, has just bossed it. He's only played 25 games, and 13 of those are substitute appearances. He already has 9 goals. He has the most goals as a substitute this season. And everyone knows that Cavani's movement, that's what's been talked about this season. His movement is second to none. I've never seen a striker other than maybe like Lewandowski or Harry Kane. What's his movement, right? He always finds the right areas and scores goals. People remember that Southampton game where United were 2-0 down. He comes in halftime, he gets an assist and 2 goals. We win 3-2. The Spurs game, right? He had a perfectly disallowed goal in the first goal because of freaking, Son diving. And then he still leads his team to a 3-1 victory. And Cavani's just changed this Man United team. He's teaching players like Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. He's led United to second place. They're in a Europa League final. So I think everything Cavani's done as far as leadership experience, his goal-scoring ability, and the dude's a straight fucking baller. So put some respect on his name. Edinson Cavani is my best transfer of the Premier League season.
All right, yeah, following up Vig, I'm also going to go for a striker. I'm going to go for Ollie Watkins of Aston Villa. And, his season's pretty nice this year, so 13 goals, 5 assists, so that's 18 goal involvements, compared to Aston Villa as a whole team last year, only got 41 goals, so that's roughly half, which is insane. And this is all for great value, right? Like, Villa signed him for 28 million. I think, altogether, the highest is, 33 million. You look at some of the other teams around the league, the way they, spunk money is, fucking useless. Like, Nelson Semedo, 40 million. They wasted money on Fabio Silva. And I just think, compared to where Villa were last year up top, this is way better. You're not dealing with, Wesley's, 6'5", immobile ass, or, Mbwana Samata's, you just can't score. It's hard to pronounce their name, and they can't score as well. So, Ollie Watkins is my best transfer of this season.
Yeah, I'm going to Wesley Fofana for my best transfer of this season. I just think, if we took a second, just appreciate Leicester and what they've done this season, with the funds of a mid-table club, they've managed to win the FA Cup, make it to the Europa League knockout stages, and it looks like they're going to secure a Champions League spot. And that's compared to clubs like Arsenal and Spurs that are being thrown money every year and they can't manage to get in the top 10 on a yearly basis. But anyways, I think Fofana, he was able to keep this team together no matter who was out. Johnny Evans got hurt, Kaglar Soyuncu got hurt, Ricardo Pereira got hurt, Castagna got hurt, James Justin, Madison, the list goes on and on. Fofana was always there in the back. He's keeping that team together. They never fell off. Last year, they had that huge fall off when Pereira and Madison got hurt. They brought in Fofana this year, and he just was always there, consistently playing well. I think very underrated player. keeping a team at that level. No matter who was in the starting lineup, they were always sitting at the top. So I just think he has to be appreciated a lot for what he's done for this team. So I do have Wesley Fofana as my best player for this year.
And now we move on to the worst transfers of this season. For me, I think there's a lot of options. A lot of clubs have made some terrible deals in the last couple windows, but for me, it's got to be Willian for Arsenal. He came from Chelsea on a free, but on wages of 220,000 euros, I believe, or pounds, sorry. But that's insane. He's one of the highest paid players at Arsenal, and now he's about to leave them after 1 year. And it hasn't worked out. Arsenal have been a shit club this season. Let's be real. They're sitting in 10th or 9th or whatever it is now. It's so common to see them in mid-table, so I'm not even surprised. And Willian has just not produced. 1 goal and 5 assists in 25 games. For a caliber of player like Willian, who's had the experience at Chelsea since 2013, right? He's a Premier League proven player. I don't know if he's a proven player, but like he usually gets like 8 or 9 goals with a couple assists here and there. So he's a decent player, but he couldn't even replicate that type of form. And it just shows like Arsenal brought him in for an experienced player to teach these young players like Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, how to improve their game. But my man's been worse. I mean, Arsenal this season have heavily relied on the youngsters to save them, when it should have been the experienced players like Aubameyang, Willian, Lacazette, who should be saving them, right? And they go crash out of the Europa as well. I know it's not specifically the Premier League season, but still, it all coincides together. And it just shows that Willian, it was a terrible buy. They dished out so much money on him. Now they're trying to get him off this contract, or they're going to have to still pay like a lot of his wages, which means they can't buy other players. And the dude has done nothing for Arsenal. So for me, Willian is a huge fucking now.
All right, yeah. Speaking about like proven players, like this guy that I'm going to talk about has proven that he's a waste of money. It is none other than Ryan Brewster or Ryan Brewster. I don't care how you pronounce it. So this dude, let's see how much he cost. He cost Sheffield United 23.5 million. And if it's not bad enough that Villa snapped up Watkins for 28 million, so just think about that. Like an extra 4 or 5 million, you could have got 18 goal involvements, but instead you got a beautiful 0 goal involvements. And I think Ryan Brewster's played like 25 games. I know they're not all starts, but like roughly 1,000 minutes, and like you have 0 goals and 0 assists. It's really bad. But on the bright side, you know, he has 1 yellow card, so that's really good. And like I get that like Sheffield like thought he was like nice, right? Like what was it, 22 games in 2019-20 for Swansea in the championship, 11 goals. But like it just hasn't translated in the Prem, and like this dude thinks he was like hot shit too, and like you're just really not anything. So I think I don't even need to like say anything else. Like Ryan Brewster, whatever your name is, like worst fucking signing in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going Donny van de Beek from United as worst signing of the season. It's not his fault. He didn't get any playing time, so I'm not saying he was like a flop or anything. I put the blame mostly on United for signing him. 35 million euros to buy him definitely was not worth it if you're not going to play him at all. You already have Bruno Fernandes. There's no point of him coming in. Bruno Fernandes was easily the best player on the team. The one player that you're probably never going to sub out because he's always going to want to play and put up goals or assists or whatever it is. I think it was mostly a panic buy for not getting Sancho. All season United wanted to get Sancho. They were chasing him all summer. At the end, Sancho ended up staying, and now you buy Van de Beek just to give the something. I think that's another example of like the Glazers just not knowing what they're doing as an ownership group. Kind of just getting a big name. Like everyone knows Donny van de Beek, and it maybe made it seem like United actually did something in the transfer window when actually they just added to a position they were best at. He put up 1 goal, 2 assists. It was actually his first game of goals, so that was actually pretty good. But only 1 goal, 2 assists. I think they're just wasting his talent. So I think the quicker he leaves, the better for him, because I do think he's a very good player. But United is probably not the best fit for him. So yeah, I have Donny van de Beek as the worst signing of the season. But yeah, other than that, let us know in the comments. Did we miss anyone? Ebery Chieze, Emiliano Martinez, Rafinha, Diogo Jota, all these guys, like underrated players, lower level teams. I don't even know if Liverpool gets in the Champions League if Jota didn't score some of the goals he did. And then did we miss anyone that for worst signing of the season? Thiago. I don't think people criticize him as much as he should be getting criticized for. A team that won the Premier League easily last season is barely making the Champions League now. But yeah, other than that, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like, and we'll catch you in the next vid. Peace.